Hello, I'm Brian Eli with the National Civil War Naval Museum.
And I'm Logan Barrett, historian.
Today we brought out 3 artifacts that we would have found at the berth deck. First thing we have is about 8 inches wide. It's made of wood, steel, and held together with brass rivets. And if you pull it apart, you can see, and it reveals exactly what it is. And what you have is a combination fork and knife. And this is the typical kind of eating utensil that you would have found on the ship where the enlisted sailors would have used. The next artifact we have is a frying pan that was found in the wreckage of the CSS Chattahoochee. As you can see, it's kind of a standard frying pan. It's almost typical of the size that you would find at home. And they would have done this if the sailors in the galley would have made food. They could have fried eggs. They could have done any various different things with it. And finally, what we have is a water cake. And you can see it stands up upright. And it has a handle on top, and it's made to be mobile. It's wood, and it has 6 iron rings that basically hold it all together. The top, it was filled, and uncomfortably, the hole right here is called the bung hole, and that's where you would either fill it up with water or possibly whiskey. And on the very end, on this side, you have a spout. Now this is something that you would have found on a naval ship, and this would have also been used on the battlefield to bring water to the soldiers on the battlefield.
Now the enlisted sailors would be eating quite similarly to what the officers would be eating, which is to say much better than what the Army would have been eating on average. The Civil War navies were regularly supplied with fresh meat, fresh produce from the shore. The big distinction between enlisted sailors and the officers would be where they were eating. Whereas the officers have their own separate quarters, separate mess tables in which they'd be dining, the enlisted sailors would be eating basically wherever they could find. The enlisted sailors would eat in rotations quite frequently of about 10 to 20 sailors at a time. They would be sharing a chest in which their utensils for eating ware would be stored. Now these utensils were not supplied by the Navy, but rather brought by the sailors themselves. So these were individualized utensils, frequently carved, etched with their initials into their utensils. So they are using the same set that are their personal belongings each time they're eating. They'd be eating about 3 times a day, and this was an important break in the monotony of the normal day of the sailor. So really each of these 3 meals throughout the day would be something for these sailors to look forward to as you go through the progression of the day. In terms of who was preparing these meals, you would generally have men specifically assigned to be cook on the ships, but then you would also have enlisted sailors on, in addition to their regular duty, would also serve on a rotational basis as part of the mess crew, helping the cook prepare the meals.
We hope you enjoyed this video.
Like and subscribe.
Don't forget to check our webpage at portcolumbus.org.
And come see us.